First of all, do we have any changes to the agenda? I know of two. One is regarding an illegal mooring in the South River. The other that was just brought up as a CFC for 216 Central Avenue. Are there any other additions?
Do you have anything?
Egypt Beach Road, update on restoration.
Yeah.
And then there were 5 more violation letters that you'll receive tomorrow. I just want to mention that they're typed and you'll be getting to see them. They're going out tomorrow.
Okay.
From the last meeting that you brought up.
Ooh, me?
Any other additions to the agenda?
I make a motion we accept the agenda with the add-ons.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I will bring up, under administrative items, I believe the next Coastal Advisory Commission meeting, which will include subjects such as, what's the word I'm looking for, Lisa?
Yeah, I need more of a sentence.
What's what we're trying to get in the Humrock? The
Easement?
easements, I know, which
Oh,
include
the
the discussions on the easements. That's gonna be on the 25th of August, or is it the 30th? I need to look at the friggin' calendar. And it will be at the South River facility in Humrock. And I do need to check the calendar very quickly.
25th is a Friday.
Nope.
The 30th is a Wednesday.
The 30th is the Wednesday, that's the 30th, yes,
Okay.
at 7 o'clock. That I know. We don't have, do I have steels for RDAs?
We don't necessarily need the applicants here for the RDAs.
No?
No. Could I just make a quick motion, we accept the minutes of May 17th that Carol worked her hiney off on to get done? They were very, very long.
They were very long.
Very long.
I second the very long minutes.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, Carol, thank you very much for that. That was a real project in itself.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, we can go right into the RDA on August 16th, 2017. Excuse me?
Excuse me, go out the hall, please.
On August 16th, 2017, during the 6:15 meeting at Town Hall, the Scituate Conservation Commission will act on the request of Sean Carr for a determination of the applicability of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Scituate Wetlands Bylaw to remove a chain-linked fence and replace with a vinyl fence on property located at 60 Surfside Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. I take it that Sean is not here.
Do you all have something to look at with respect to this project, or should I bring up the folder?
You may need to bring it up, Amy.
I do. Amy, can I, before we even actually start, I'm assuming from going down there, the fence is going in the exact same position. But my problem is that it is on the pond side, and I'm not sure how far away from the pond it is, if they're in the buffer zone, if the original fence was at a filed for, that they want to replace with the vinyl. So that, I kind of have a question before, because it does not show anything here as far as the pond.
Oh, good. Our leader is here.
My apologies.
It's okay.
So much for the plan to get
Right.
things started.
We started without you.
Good.
You were missed.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Amy can answer the question. I
Yeah.
just started the RDA for 60 Surfside
So
and read it.
I'm
Thank you.
unaware of other filings for the property, but
Okay.
I'm imagining that there should be for the house itself, since it's in resource area.
Not necessarily, depends, some of those houses were built before the wetlands came in. So
Right.
that's like my concern, because I'm not seeing anything here showing the pond, showing how many feet away from the pond it is, and like I said, if that chain link fence, that could have been there for 40 years before all this, and it there's a possibility, because it's not showing anything, that it's illegal. That if it's in the 50-foot or something, but it could have been originally put in, so yes, it would be grandfathered in, but I'm not seeing enough information here personally.
Yeah, Pat, I think, has a little bit of background on this one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
met with them, they're new owners, fairly new
See, so
owners.
they don't know.
And they didn't know, and the fence
No.
looks like it's been there.
Right, so
for
there's a
quite while.
fence there, and the question is, will we allow them to
Houses
change it
and
out?
walls,
Yeah, see, so that could have.
So if you say no, they'll leave the fence that's there, yeah.
Well, I'm not necessarily
No,
saying
no,
no.
I'm just like
You know, if you
throwing out
wanna look at
supposition,
their,
right.
their hand drawing,
Well,
it just,
it's clearly on a barrier beach and on coastal land subject to storm flowage.
yeah,
So one of the things that we identified, from switching it from a chain link fence to a vinyl fence would be, possible flowage, being blocked. So if you were to allow it, perhaps there would be a way that they could make the new fence to have a gate in it or something, that would be a possibility.
It could be raised up so there was some
Right.
clearance under it.
They usually
under
put
it,
it
I
raised
mean, I
up,
don't
yeah.
have a problem with it, but it's just when I look at this, it's like, okay, well, I think I need a little more info on it.
So the plan doesn't show distance from the pond.
No, it shows nothing, actually.
It just shows,
It's a diagram.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
diagram, hand-drawn
Um,
diagram.
which is fine, I don't mind that in an IDA, but it just shows where the fence is, so, but
Paul's
that's
like,
all.
wait a minute, I have to show way more than that on an IDA.
Well,
We usually do.
It's definitely, it's in buffer, it's not right on top of the pond. Pat and I just were out there also, this afternoon, and it's a replacement of an existing fence. We could ask for additional information before you vote on it.
Is the fence there now in the hole,
There is
exactly in
chain
that
link.
location? And
Yeah.
it's chain link?
Yeah.
So they just wanna take it down and
Yeah.
put,
And put a vinyl fence in. And as you know, fences do, some of them fall in this kind of exemption.
right.
So,
I'm fine with it, but like you said, then if it's a vinyl fence, that's a solid fence. And if they don't wanna take it down every year like we did on the other side of Surfside, they have to take it down every
But some of those are in the B zone.
Oh, I understand, I'm just saying, just ask them to leave some space, just so the water
Right.
can ebb back and forth, plus you're gonna save your fence.
Right, is it,
Well, it's a vinyl fence. It doesn't have to be solid. It could be a vinyl pickets,
I
could
don't
it
know.
not?
could be.
Right, or could.
I don't know what they're putting up.
Well, I guess that's what I'm
They haven't
saying.
provided us with a spec for the fence.
I think we need to know that it's gonna be, if we're gonna allow it, I think we need to know it's gonna have a flow-through.
well, you can either issue this IDA tonight, you can continue the IDA till the owners, the applicant can be here and explain it.
We could issue it with conditions that they, allow flowage.
Right.
I mean, I just was bringing it up because I had the plan to look at in front of me, and it kinda jumped out at me. I'd be remiss if I didn't say something.
Yep,
So it's kinda up to you guys where you wanna go.
you're running this one, Richard.
If you go with that, can we can we be specific enough to say the kind of flowage that it would need to be?
You could say 4 to 6 inches off the ground, or.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we have in the A zone lots of
Absolutely.
solid vinyl fences.
Is
yes.
the fence in the V zone or the A zone?
It's not in the V zone.
It's not in the V zone,
Not in
it's
the V
across the
zone.
street, it's on the pond
Yeah.
side, Lisa. So it's across, so it's quite a ways.
So,
from the
so
V
that
zone.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
I don't have a big
5
problem with it
inches
as long as
flow,
we know
water
and
to
we're happy. I
pass.
guess you're happy with the flow.
Well, we can condition, the determination, although we don't really have a good mechanism to
Yeah.
track it and enforce it.
Yeah.
So that's the
Right.
thing about an order is, you have an official number, you've got a tracking process,
But you
report
have
on the
me
deed.
and I ride down there and there
Well,
isn't
that's
a
right.
place.
We've got our eyes on them. And we can ask them,
Better than condition.
So what do you think, approximately 4 to 6
4 inches,
inches? of
yeah.
4 to
clearance?
6 inches,
Yeah.
just because, let's face it, the grass will grow up.
Right, that's why I
and
said 4 to
Yeah,
6.
yeah,
And,
I think that'd be fine. I don't have a problem otherwise.
No, because
Other than
it
how,
is
is there any
existing.
restriction on how the old fence is taken out? Is it in a zone where we have to worry about that?
I don't think so. It's an established lawn, they pull it out,
Okay.
sink the new one in.
Great.
Little disruption. I mean, I think one thing on their request for determination, though, they checked box A, which is whether the area depicted on the plan is an area subject to jurisdiction of the act. I mean, so that's obviously yes,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, I think they probably should have checked a couple other boxes, because it's really gonna be, C2, I would think. Yeah,
Yeah, fence would be the work.
the work depicted on the plan is subject, so, I mean, so. But we're not gonna delineate any boundaries as part of this.
No, because it is existing. If it
Right,
wasn't
it's a
existing. I'd-
replacement.
Right,
yeah.
and I think it would be a -3, right?
Yeah.
Is that- Yeah,
Okay.
with a -3, and we can add a condition and let them know that we'll be watching them.
Yes.
Okay.
The eyes are out there. I make a motion for a -3 with the condition of, to have it 4 to 6 inches up so flow can go underneath it during the storm.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Frank, excuse me 1 second. We added 4 things to the top. None of them are huge, but you can take that if you want, okay? And we approved the minutes from May 17th.
Great.
And I did a coastal advisory update.
Awesome. Do we know when the next meeting is?
30th at South, South
August
Humrock.
30th, is
August 30th at South Humrock.
Okay. Is Martin, somebody here from Martin? Thanks. Thank you, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
On August 16th of 2017, during the 6:15 meeting of the Town Hall, the Scituate Conservation Commission will act on the request of Monica and Peter Martin for a determination of applicability to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Scituate Wetlands Bylaw to renovate a garage and remove outside stairs on property located at 67 Border Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. That must have been where I got the 6:15.
Yeah, sure thing.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Paul Maravito from Ross Engineering Company, representing the owners of the property at 67 Border Street. The Martins recently purchased the property, and they have the entrance to the property is almost opposite the River Club up here,
Yes.
and they have this long pork chop lot.
Yeah.
When you come down into it, the first structure you see is the existing garage. Then the main house is in this area here. Purpose of the RDA is what they want to do is to renovate the interior of the garage and also do some exterior work. They want to put new siding on it, a new roof, and change some of the windows. This pink area is an existing stairway from this outdoor deck down to the ground. This is going to be completely eliminated, so the only access to this would be from inside the house, off the second floor. The rest of the work would be on the inside to renovate the interior of it. There are living quarters above it, and that's what they're proposing to do. We show a silt sock around it. This is the edge of the wetland. It was flagged by Brad Holmes. Next, it goes around the entire property. This is the 50-foot buffer zone. This is the driveway coming down and going into the garage.
So for our purposes, Paul, the only thing we're really looking at is the removal of the stairs?
Pretty much, yeah?
There's no other groundwork or?
No change to the driveway?
No.
Okay.
It's a paved driveway.
Mhm.
They put a new septic system in several years ago. There's a pump chamber here that pumps a sewer up into here to the treatment tank. There's a jet system there, and this is the leaching area for both the main house and the room above it.
I think I missed, what's the purple line? Is that gonna be a,
Oh, this is the silt sock?
yeah, that's what I
Silt
hope.
sock around the work area.
Okay, thank you.
But all they're doing is removing a stairway. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
and they're
doing any
leaching, I
construction
mean,
or,
it's all,
yeah.
they're not, but you still don't want that close to the wetlands. You
Mhm.
want, you know, everything to stay there.
This is all existing lawn around it.
Yeah, I know, yeah, very nice.
Right.
No, that was my only question, I wanted to make sure the
Richard?
No problem.
close.
All good.
No problem.
Yeah, I have very little comments on this one. I mean, one thing I just wanted to be clear about is that we're not confirming the wetland line or accepting this
No.
for future projects.
No,
Where did that wetland line come from, Paul? Was that when they did the septic, or did you have it delineated?
No, we had Brad flag it, back in April of this year,
Wow.
April 27th. It's in the line.
Okay.
but it's an existing building, so I feel comfortable with that
Okay.
one. Okay,
All
so
right.
I
Take
guess
a
I make a motion.
Anybody in the audience?
I make a motion for -3
Second.
before we laugh off our seats.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
You can go home now.
I think this is the fewest people we've ever had, isn't it? I think this is the fewest people we've ever had.
Well, everything's really not for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know, then they'll
Carol
all.
sent the ads out saying that the meeting was tomorrow night, so.
Good
So
girl, kid.
they're all coming tomorrow?
Good girl.
All by themselves.
Ah.
Thank you, Paul.
So we do have some time before anybody
Do
else
the ones
is...
up top.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll knock off.
a few more.
You did the coastal advisory.
Yes.
Beach, you're you're pitch hitting for the beach, aren't you?
No,
No?
Oh, I thought you were.
I was.
Okay, but you're not anymore, okay.
So, do you want to do access parking? Or is there something else we want to hit some of those other add-ons?
No, let's go right into it.
Okay. Penny?
I don't know how deep you want me to go. The figures came back, the estimated figures, preliminary figures, and the project, this is a CPC project, we hope to have before special town meeting in November, and we have to present by this first meeting in September in order to get on the warrant. When the estimated figures came back, and they're pretty good figures, the project is much more expensive than we thought. But Penny went to CPC, I had a CPC meeting Monday night, and when we saw the figures were so much, Frank, myself, and the consultant, we sat down and we said, well, maybe we'll pull this parking area out or this one out and just do a couple. Because it just kind of made us nervous that, oh boy, are they gonna shoot us down? We don't wanna lose the whole thing. Now,
Can I just
yes,
back up
you
just-
can.
So there's, the projects that we're talking about are getting the access and parking to the Crosby Field, which has been going on for a
Right.
while.
Yes,
Um,
it's a long road.
some improvements and parking at the Bates Lane, which would also include some handicap disabilities walking area path up Bates Lane. It would be access and parking to the Damon parcel along with a disabilities trail. So it's gonna have a hard packed trail of several hundred feet going off into the woods, so someone that is disabled could at least get partway into the property.
That's good.
And then there's also the Higgins-McAllister piece at the end of Hollycrest, which would be some parking as well. So it's quite a bit of project, and especially the Crosby one includes the crossing of a wetland and hundreds and hundreds of feet of access road and parking. So they're good-sized projects, and it's, you know, we're saying Penny and I had met with Disabilities Commission, we've discussed with them, there'll be, parking, handicap parking at each parking lot, and then the addition of this trail so that people with different, limitations could at least have some good access partway into the property. But what happened was, all these different properties that were acquired with community preservation funds. Those funds, if you don't use all of them, then they get returned back eventually to the community preservation fund, the general fund. Those have been held for those projects for some time now. Some of the money that was held was specifically for the access and the trails. Other money is there because we didn't spend all the money on the land. Either it didn't appraise correctly, or the property didn't come out at the value that they wanted it. Maybe there wasn't enough the acreage was lower. So for whatever reason, each one of those parcels have some money, and that's a few $100,000. But if we do all these projects, and again, it's estimated at this point, but it's got some pretty good estimates, we're close to $500,000. And so the question is, how do we approach that? And as Penny was saying, Penny and I have been working on this project and talking with the estimator consultant for the town. And should we reduce the projects, say try to pick off the couple of main ones that we really think are important, which is, I feel, is the Crosby property and the Bates Lane property. The other two are ones that could happen at a later date. And so that's one of the options. And then, as Penny said, she went to CPC the other night, and I wasn't there, so you should.
Okay, so when I was at CPC, and I told them that I've run into a problem, that when the estimates did come finally out, it was a lot more than what we had expected. And they said, how much new money? When Frank was telling you there's 317,000, either it was for parking and access, or it was over money for purchase that we really can't use for parking access. So there's 307 simultaneously, 317 is going back to CPC. So CPC people said, how much new money are you looking for, Penny? And I told them the figure too, and they said, go for the whole thing. I said, so I'm gonna straw poll all of you, and that's a big committee, there's nine of us. I said, I want John's opinion, because I don't want to go back to the consultant or the engineer and say we're going for the whole ball of wax, unless I want support, and I want you to get out and help support this. And they all said, go for the whole thing. They feel as though it's just gonna get more expensive, and when you start to break a project like this up, it is going to be, if you do small pieces, in the end, you'll spend probably more money. And the feeling of that board was, if we show with slides exactly where all the projects are, and the funds, how it is, it's only 200 new money. The 317, that's been for open space a long time ago. That's been gone from the bank of CPC. And they said, you'd be crazy not to go for the whole thing. I said, okay, so I'll go to conservation and tell them that you verbally gave me 100% support to go forward with the whole project. And they feel as though the selectmen have been talking, they talk all the time, get access for the public, we paid, there's a total of $9 million out there that we paid for open space. So,
Is it that much?
yeah, it's over 9 million we put out. So for 500,000, 200 new, they're saying, you gotta be crazy, the people wanna get out there, they need the parking. We're doing the handicap, which you have to do today, so that was another added expense that when we started this about 6, 7 years ago, thinking about it, that wasn't an expense, but you have to do these things. So
And it's great, because
I just wanna present it to the board, Frank, and just to be sure, do you feel we're going down the right route to go for the whole ball of wax at this time, or should we try and piecemeal it?
Well, wouldn't part of it be a legal requirement if you're gonna do it anyway, to do?
If we build them, we have to build them compliant.
Yes.
So, yes, the handicap parking.
Right.
And adding some pieces is certainly, should be part of the
Yes.
project.
To me, it doesn't make sense not to go for the whole thing.
It's just, do we wanna ask the town for an additional $200 million?
200,000.
200,000.
200,000, yeah.
Don't scare me.
200.
Frank's just thinking he'll end up with some extra walking around money.
$200,000 for these projects, or do we, as Penny points out, we already have this, technically the 317, do we say, listen, we'd like to use that money, or maybe that and a little bit more,
Would have to.
and complete the Crosby and the Bates Lane project, the two large ones, and lay back on the two lesser ones at that time, and make sure that we get at least, we've been a long time trying to get these things going, and I'd hate to be at town meeting and have them
Shut it down.
shut it down.
Can I just throw one thing
Yeah.
in, Frank? The thing though, those would be the two that would definitely go for, okay? The price tag for those two, cause the Crosby is over the 317, what we're
Right.
showing back, and the other one's 70. So we're we're gonna ask for 100 anyways, just to do two of them. I just want you to be aware of that. So for the other two, it's another 100.
Right.
I mean, I understand where Frank's coming from. We don't wanna get shot down.
But you're already asking for money. I agree with Frank. Like, if you had the money to do this, and it's a done deal, but if you're asking, I mean, it's a judgment call, but
You know,
So we're anxious to get these going, and this is,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of the design, we're finishing design, the town has given us a consultant to help us with all these pieces, we're moving forward, and we really wanna get this, we've been, you know, how long have we had this conversation? It's been a few
been
years
going
now.
on.
yes.
So, I got a call from Maura Curran, who's our liaison to the selectmen. She couldn't make it tonight, just wondered if there was any hot topics that she should be filled in on, and I did run that one by her, and she hasn't had really a chance to think about it,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
sort of like, maybe you should just do them all, was the thought that, so I think I can say that.
I think Penny's exactly right, and so is those people on the CFC, that, it's only gonna get more expensive.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
so if you only ask for 100 now, you're gonna be asking for 300 3 years from now, or 2 years from now, to do the rest.
It's long overdue.
Yeah.
It should be done, get it all done.
And to be very honest, it is up to the public at town meeting.
Yeah.
If you want this done, then speak up now and let's get it done.
Right, if you want access to the property.
You know, if you don't, then fine, the animals can have it forever.
Well, you love those
Not
critters,
really.
though.
But I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
it's like it is in the town people's ballpark.
Yeah.
And,
I think a strong case can be made.
we, you know, yeah. I personally, I just want it done. I am very excited. The thoughts of next spring, having parking, the roadways in, done, the parking, handicap, the trail system that they're going to do this fall and winter. You know, in the markings, it's like, hallelujah. You know, since CPC started and we bought our first piece of property, everything has come together now. And the public, get out there and enjoy it.
But we also have other projects. I mean, we've been talking again, started to revisit the Driftway
Yeah,
Park, that needs rejuvenation.
yeah.
So
Well-
it's not like,
That can be for town meeting in the spring, because we do have, this is one good thing, is this CPC is opened up now in the sense that they will be taking quite a few projects in the fall. It's not just a one-time shot, because, we wanna get this done this winter. And I'll be honest, Frank, I just see as though, people do like nature, and I think we can go back in the spring with that pier down there, and they'll be right there with us. I have faith in the people when it comes to nature.
no, and they've supported it, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that all these projects are around the west end and the property that's been acquired there.
$9 million
And-
worth, yeah.
And we certainly want, Hubble was purchased, Litchfield is outside of that.
Yeah, but the majority is.
Yeah,
up
but
there.
the-
Yes, you're right.
So, the CPC money has been used for a wide variety of things, historic,
Mm-hmm.
affordable
Housing.
housing,
Yeah.
all those sort of things. So
Yeah.
we wanna get, certainly like to get our fair, share of it, but,
Sure.
just don't wanna overdo it either.
Well, I don't wanna be afraid to put forward for this money for fear of another project. Well, I'm kind of like, let's complete this, it's done, and then we'll work our hiney off on the next one and get the support. I don't wanna, just because we have other projects we wanna do, shortchange this project, where we've worked so hard on it for a long time. But,
Okay.
Agree with
Well, we don't have to take a vote.
no, we don't, I
Right.
just, I
Want to
wanted to
get a
have the
sort of a
update.
consensus of what the members think, we can certainly get the opinion.
But I would like, in the sense, I, did
Oh,
go
you
back to
do
the.
want one, I don't,
Well, I did go back to the consultant, and I told him, because we will be doing public meetings in the next few weeks, we've gotta get those done. That when he left the last meeting with us, it was, see how you can do just a little bit. So I went Monday, Tuesday, and said, go for the whole thing. CPC told me, unless Concom tells me differently, I want you, when you meet with the engineer this week, at the end of the week, the whole thing, don't start pulling anything out.
when's the next CPC meeting?
It is September, it's the second Monday, so it's like
Oh,
the
the
11th, I do believe,
Okay.
yeah.
And you need to be telling them what you,
Well, I have to make a presentation, I still haven't made a presentation, they would like to see the figures,
okay.
and they wanna see the plans,
And what did you tell me the Humrock meeting was?
August 30th.
Where's your Franklin planer?
7 p.m.
Downgraded to a calendar
Yeah,
now?
it's been easier.
Do we need to discuss our new meeting dates too? Is that
Um,
I don't
something?
know.
All right, so,
Finish this
wanna
one.
finish this one up?
Yeah.
All right,
I'd like to make a motion that, we support the whole, all parking areas at this point in time go for the 200 in new money.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I
Now
think
we can go
It will be a wonderful project.
No,
No, we can't go home.
6:40 now.
All right. Do you wanna jump back to a hearing?
Sure.
Or do you wanna finish something else up while we're... Is anybody here for Valdez?
No? Not that we're too early for that.
Bueller?
You wanna hold that off? Wanna just hold off a little before we open
Yeah,
that?
well, he's not here, so we're not gonna hold it without him being here.
Okay.
And I think we're actually too early to go on to the 650.
Can we just open Valdez? I do have a comment before we even
No,
look
I'd
into
rather
this.
hold off,
Okay,
honestly.
okay,
See if he
Yes,
comes,
yes.
because
that's fine.
Because I
I
had
don't
a
know
long,
how much my comment
long
is gonna be.
conversation with him, so.
Yeah, okay,
Well, at some point, we'll have to open it,
yeah, okay.
or
Right.
at least continue it, but,
Without a
butters notification?
Drew?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's fine.
Because we haven't confirmed that, right. Yeah, so let's move on to
Um,
an enforcement issue or
Yeah,
Sure.
I have
updates from
a couple
Patrick.
of quick ones.
Yeah,
okay.
There's an illegal mooring in South River that's been reported. Someone was able to get the number of the boat. I spoke with the harbor master. He is gonna order that the boat be moved off there, and then we'll handle the mooring pole that's stuck in the marsh. So he's gonna get me the name and the address of the owner of the boat. And then he'll write them to get the boat out, and then we can write them about whatever marsh damage there is from the pole.
So the picture I saw, the boat was in the water, but are you saying it's
But at low tide, it sits
It's on the-
marsh.
it's on the
and
marsh.
it's on a pole that's
been driven into the marsh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
How do you drive those in from
Sledgehammer.
It's like just
Pretty
mud.
easy.
It's like
It's all,
chocolate pudding.
it's just
yeah.
mud.
No, I don't know,
Well, all you have to do is walk
I've
on the
never
bottom
tried
there,
it.
you'll know.
Yeah.
Just sink down to your knees.
yeah, okay. So it's not a big pole?
yeah, it's around like this.
Right, people usually take a piece of pipe and
Okay.
a sledgehammer and drive it in.
Okay,
He, we went out on a follow-up visit, Amy and I, to Egypt Beach Road. This was a restoration plan, for a disturbance in a wetland. And, much of it is done and some is still undone. So progress has been made, but it's not finalized. They did a lot of the plantings of the, wildflower seeds, and, it's just that some of the plants like sweet pepper bush and blueberries were not put in yet. But there's, it looks a lot better than it did. It's establishing somewhat, but, I will be sending an email about what is still left to do.
Is this the same one we've had on discussing?
Yes.
Okay.
are they going to have some sort of a marker so they don't go back there again?
The plan calls for, conservation posts.
Okay.
And they're wondering if they could put a fence in instead. And if the fence went in with conservation markers on it, that might be.
Same idea, though, what kind of a fence are you talking about?
Post and rail?
Post and rail?
I don't know
That-
what they
that-
have in mind. I didn't.
Yeah,
Well, you got water there, though,
What's that?
but you do have water there.
yes.
It's wetland, but it's, yeah.
Well, there's a little
It's-
brook back there. Could I just, because my concern is if it isn't a lot of blueberry bushes, that, the flower seed mix, it's lovely, but you
Doesn't
don't have a
hold by itself.
guarantee of it coming back up again every year.
Right.
You know, I mean, it looks so pretty when you're out in the wild, but that's very easy in erosion. I'm not so crazy about that. I would have liked to have seen more plants.
Yeah, well, that was.
The
what's
whole
going on.
soil.
Right, that was part of what was approved, but then there's probably 20 plants that aren't in place yet.
Okay,
That
yeah.
we'll get them to
okay.
Do we putting a deadline on it?
do. Well, we had some progress this time, but.
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
But it was
right,
last
right.
October when it started.
That's, you know, and now we're already in the middle of September,
Right.
of August, I'm
Good
moving.
time to plant would be.
It is.
Yeah, that's September.
I think you need to get
Deadline.
back to her and say, you've got another, it's
Yeah.
gotta be done by
We
September.
need a drop dead date that we can measure.
Yeah, no, you really do, it's
Yeah.
just been too
That-
long.
That's a lot of the stuff we've had floating around because we didn't have dates.
Next.
And on Candlewood, we had spoken with the previous engineer who has a plan, approved plan, and we were gonna have the property owner have it resurveyed, but the person who did the original site plan, Ralph Cole, was saying, there's a pin out there that we could measure out to the property owner. We don't have to wait for an engineer to do it. We could actually go to where the pin is in the
Oh,
rock
the
and do a
pin's in
measurement,
there.
and we'll know if it's off-site.
Huh,
So, he volunteers.
did he tell you where the pin
volunteer.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go as long as somebody else goes with me.
I'll go with you.
Well, I think I want a gentleman with us, too.
Why?
So-
Is it,
I just, yeah.
oh, okay.
Are you, I don't, what's your dates for being in town?
It's been 2 or 3 days.
I thought you were trying to back away from that.
Yeah.
Must be a long 10 hours, huh?
I'll be running out by January.
Well, then do you want to try for something next week to take a look?
Yeah.
Amy sure will want to see this place.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I know Thursday night there's a meeting with the planning board with Toll Brothers, so I'll be here for Thursday, for sure.
Are we supposed to go?
It's not a joint meeting, they're gonna be going into the environmental part of the site, you know, the cleanup, all the issues around that, so.
Okay, well, they
Be a
can,
big crowd, it's up at the police and
that's
fire,
okay.
public safety.
Well, why don't you,
I'll
why
watch
don't you
it on TV.
email us, and if
Thursday.
Thursday's gonna be
Sure.
the day, then it won't take long.
No. Well,
It's got hair on, right?
6 AM,
Get out of the way early.
I could do that.
I wrap mine up.
all right, Amy and I will find some time.
We'll figure out a time,
All right,
all right?
all right.
Can't wait.
And there's a bunch more violation letters that Carol typed up today that are going out tomorrow.
Good. And I have a quick update on the violation
Oh,
letter enforcement order that was sent to Massa
yeah,
on the, backside of.
I was down there.
Right.
Oh,
and-
it's
and
lovely.
so, actually, today we received a response, a written response from him, so we'll be sure to distribute it
Please.
to everybody. But I think ultimately, it looks like it'll probably be, going to the town council to try to work out a response. Because what we did in the enforcement order is we asked for, submittal of a document to, restore the area.
Yeah.
Basically establish what the resource area was and what was disturbed and to put it back. And, so, it's moving forward. And he, actually, the owner, his last sentence, sums it up pretty well, but he would like to resolve the problem
Okay.
in a fair and reasonable way for all concerned. So I mean, it sounds like he's a willing partner to try to move in the right direction. It just might take a little work to get there.
Okay.
That's terrific.
I think at this point, we probably can move on to
Yeah, the next
Putnam?
open, will we open 10 Meadow?
We can wait.
without the
one. We could
applicant?
still come
We're
back.
gonna be here for a while. We'll just,
Back.
nobody else
Yeah.
is here for that, so,
Yeah.
So
Well, you
maybe
wanna
we'll
open it
right
without
on to
green
79
cards.
Right.
Blades,
so let's wait.
79 Blades.
Sure. You here for that?
Yep.
On August 16th at 2017, 6:50 PM, the Town Hall, Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700 Town of Situate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Kristen
Oh, okay.
Putnam to raise a dwelling at 79 Glades Road and construct an attached garage to 81 Glades Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Evening. Brendan Sullivan with Kevin R. Consulting, here representing the applicants who live at 79 Glades Road. The project is being constructed at 81 Glades Road. The lot is approximately 20 feet by 44 feet. The house has been condemned by the Board of Health. It's under court order for non-payment of taxes. So the abutters have a P&S to purchase the lot, tear down the existing dwelling, and build an attached garage to their existing dwelling at 81 Glades Road. So the lots will merge in a sense. We've gotten permission from, we've gotten approval from the ZBA a couple weeks ago. The resource areas are, there's a salt marsh in the way back,
See that when you guys get-
This was,
and which the 100-foot buffer doesn't even come onto our property. There is the property is about elevation 10, about ranges between 9 and 10. The flood zone is elevation 15, which the existing floor of the existing house at 81 is 15.7. The garage would probably be at about 10.5, I'm envisioning. and it will have flood vents to be flood compliant, so the attached structure will be flood compliant. And I think that's about it.
So is the new garage attached to the existing house?
It will be, yes.
Sorry, maybe you said that, I didn't catch that.
The existing dwelling actually encroaches onto this lot by a few inches.
Right.
That's why there's actually, all the work is being constructed on the address of 79 Glades Road.
So you raise and rebuild this and attach it to this.
Yeah.
Things are very tight down there.
You don't have any plans yet, building plans or anything?
I have the foundation plan, that was about it. So it is gonna be a, I'm assuming a one-car garage, and there's gonna be a second story on it.
Yeah, because that's the main floor of the house, is the second story.
Yeah, it'll probably be like I'm assuming, I don't know how how they're gonna line up, because like I said, the first floor of 81 is at elevation 15. The garage is gonna,
Floor,
yeah, the garage is gonna be at, say, 10. So if, say the first floor, even if it's up another 20, it's elevation 20, there's gonna be a 5-foot difference there somewhere, but they'll have to figure that out interior-wise.
It's already cut down. That, it's interesting, it just dawned on me. Goodness gracious, 30 years ago, that was my daughter's first home, my oldest girl.
Oh, wow.
They bought that, lived there.
Oh, wow.
Is this? This in
Did the
So I
people
know the
next door
house
pay their
better.
taxes then?
No, she did, they did, no, because they're not the house they're gonna raise, but I know the other house.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the houses on that side, they're put on pilings, right? But it's an AE,
Yeah, it's an AE elevation 15. I think in the past, it might have been an AO across the glades there in that area.
right.
But it's since changed to an AE. There's a, I think from the flood map, I think there's a,
My daughter had to be evacuated
Yeah.
from there. The army came in and got them.
yeah, there's a velocity, actually it comes in a little bit, but there's a velocity elevation, VE 20,
Right,
just on the other side of the street.
but it doesn't continue over. Did that change with the new map? There's just several houses that I think of across the street that are.
exactly. There's the, you see on the flood map here.
You know what's funny, though? Once you pass Bailey's Causeway, I forget the number, but there's a really nice big house on the left. The house is elevated, but it's all brand new, and the garage is down on a foundation
Right.
at grade, and then the house is elevated.
So here's Bailey's.
Yep.
We're probably right about here, so across the street, so you get the white, so the velocity, that's velocity.
Sorry.
The velocity's across, it's on the ocean side, and then it comes in, like you said, along these few houses, and then it comes back out again.
Okay,
So this is velocity 20, this is AE 15.
all right, so there are some houses that are in that, no, strange.
Yeah.
And so you're where, right in here?
Nope, we're down, we're probably, we're on the
Oh,
other
I
side of
see.
Glades.
Okay.
We're on the other side of Glades.
All right.
Let's see, there's that parking lot, we're probably one of these houses in here,
Okay,
or across the street.
Frank, it's the Warrens.
Yep.
Gert's house.
I think before, this used to be a velocity, and then like an AO,
right.
and then like on the backside is typically your AE
Okay.
15. And the AE 15 did come up, I know we went over on Bailey's, and it was always 10 before it came up to elevation 15 for the 100-year flood.
Okay. Penny?
No, I don't have any questions, good use.
I'm good. Rich? I'm good.
Paul?
Good?
All set?
The comment that I had was, do we know where the cesspool is?
We
for
don't.
this structure, and will it be abandoned?
It will be, there's a note on the plan to abandon it. They don't know where it is, there's a couple outlets there. It might be under the house. The house takes up a good size of the lot, as you can tell. But I've been to Board of Health, and there's no record of where it is. But there's a note on the plan, and it will be abandoned as per
Okay.
Title V and Board of Health rules and
Great.
regs.
And also note the Board of Health reg for, lead and asbestos before you demo.
Yes, that has been there, they've already been, I believe there is asbestos in there. They might start that as soon as next week.
Taking that out.
And nothing will be stored on the property, it'll go right into dumpsters.
Yes, yeah, the demo, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're also aware of the court case, and I reached out to town council for a status, but didn't really receive any indication that this would hold anything up. But I'm still gonna recommend to you guys that I would recommend standard order, and you could vote to close and issue tonight. And it won't mean that you're gonna get it tonight, but at least we
Right.
can get it out to you before September 6th, which is our next meeting.
Oh, that'd be great, okay, because there was some question on that. They were, the attorney that has it under the court order I guess the judge was getting an update as late as soon as either yesterday or today, and he wanted to know. I said, well, they thought they were gonna get the orders tonight. I said, well, usually not. Usually we hopefully close it tonight, and the orders might not be issued until the first meeting in September, so. But
Right,
they're,
21 days is
Yeah.
usually our timeframe. If we can get it out before then, we do, but.
okay. Yeah, so they're aware of that. They're planning on, it's been delayed so many times. This is the last, permit for, other than the demolition, but, to get things rolling over there, so.
So the applicant is Putnam, but they don't own the property yet.
Right. But we got signatures from the attorney who has it under the court order, Carter out of Hingham, not Hingham, Quincy,
Okay.
which the court order is in the package as well,
Okay.
in the P&S.
It's got silt sock.
Yeah,
No, look,
take all the precautions.
Anybody in the audience? Okay,
I make a motion to close.
Second.
all in favor?
Uh,
So you also want to vote, though, on orders?
She said just
As
standard,
for
Amy?
standard order of conditions, no specials, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You can review it before you sign it, and it goes out the door, you know what I mean, but I think Carol's already been working on it, just to try to push this along for them.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
she's
we
looking
wanna-
for a motion on the.
So I'll make a motion, we accept a standard set of orders for this type of project.
This
At
specific
79 Glades
project.
Road.
At 79 Glades Road.
This tight.
Just trying to help out here.
Okay, thank you, I need it.
Was there anybody in the audience to
No.
speak to this?
No.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Keep it
thank
moving,
you.
Richard. Watch him.
Yeah.
Getting too old for
Didn't
this.
dawn on me.
Prairie, 87 Glades Road, septic repair. On August 16th, 7 PM, the Town Hall of Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a hearing on under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Doris Prairie to repair a multi-family septic system on property located at 87 Glades Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. For the record, Jeff Acid with Morse Engineering, and this is a septic repair at 87 Glades Road. The lot is relatively small. It's only about 3,000 square feet in size, and it's located within a FEMA velocity zone, FEMA AE zone, elevation 15. It's developed with a multifamily building, which I have shown on the plan and colored in brown. And as you can see, it really takes up most of the property. So in this case, we are proposing a tight tank. It's replacing a failed system that currently breaks out, and they've been ordered by the Board of Health to replace it. We looked at several options to put a conventional system in here, and it just is not feasible. So we're doing a tight tank, which is approved by the Board of Health. It's a 5,000 gallon tank, and it's equipped with an alarm system that will signal the alarm when it's 3/5 at capacity. It'll be a big improvement for environmentally, because it's replacing a failed septic system.
Huge. No, I think it's very, very good what you're doing.
Richard?
Any restrictions at all on how they get that in that area?
The tight.
There's an access way between the two buildings. On the left side of that property, it's actually an easement shared between this building and this building. So the access is in here. A delivery truck can get in there. It'll be tight, and they'll be able to drop the tank in. It is a tight area, but it is feasible.
Paul?
No questions.
One of the things that I observed was there was no limit of work on the plan. So generally, we do like to establish a limit of work. I know this is gonna be a pretty quick project, so I,
Yeah.
you know, just
Yeah, I expect.
not a mulch stock, but straw wattle would probably be appropriate for this project.
Okay. Yeah, it's something that will only take, most of the work will be done in one day, and then
Yeah.
probably another day of cleanup work. And the limit of work will be the property line along the side and the rear, so we can put a barrier there.
Okay.
Is that all cobble there, or is it,
Yeah, sand and cobblestones.
yeah, there's not much vegetation? No.
Not down there.
Anybody in the audience? Okay,
I make a motion to close.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Sharon, 109 Glades Road, septic repair.
Blades, maybe.
On August 16th at, geez, can we do this?
7:10, not yet.
All right.
3 minutes.
Amy, can you go back to Man Hill for a minute, the enforcement?
Sure.
Man Hill, so I did see that letter. And I still have concerns because the person that did that is claiming that there was an old tennis court there, but that tennis court has grown over. And the fact is that this work was done in a resource area. So, you know, even though they're willing to say they wanted to work with us, at this point, I hope they realize that this isn't just a discussion about whether they can keep it or they can't. You know,
Agreed.
A, they're gonna have to file, and B, they may be denied.
What they did.
Right,
Remove
absolutely.
it.
Right, now that's specific in the EO, what we're looking for, so,
In the meantime, is this being used as a parking area?
Mhm.
I have not confirmed that personally, but
Yeah.
sounds like it could be.
Yeah.
So do we,
So there could be definitely violations in other departments, like planning,
Right.
perhaps. Zoning enforcement
okay,
as well. So that's why I think that, town council definitely is gonna need to probably write a strong letter with our position.
yep,
Right? There were 2 cars in there.
Yeah.
sleeping.
Well, he says right in the letter what his intent is.
right,
And I agree that aerial photos don't indicate a tennis court. I mean, I can
Oh, no.
see that there could be an area of disturbance, but that doesn't mean you can bring in fill without a permit.
right. No, I mean, there
So on
should have been a
and so forth.
filing to start with and a
Exactly.
discussion,
Yeah,
and there was none.
right, so
And
he's
now
asking
someone's
for
constructed a
permission
parking
after.
area, and they're parking their cars on it.
Yeah.
So have we, I mean, at what point can we kick in fines? Do we have to go through this process before the fining actually starts?
can ask
I think I would. I mean,
council that question.
yeah, I really do. I mean, this isn't like, oops, I kinda messed up here a little bit.
We don't want it dragged out over the
Someone
winter.
built a parking area in a resource area without anything.
Right. Well, if you want fill removed, I mean, yeah, I think you give them a reasonable amount of time. You say either 30 days to remove the fill, and, or fines will commence.
Yeah, well, typically, if he's filing, it should be for a restoration at this, or whatever. I mean, he can file to put his piece there, but it may be a restoration. But to me, this is enough of a violation in the area that it was done to really be not hanging out on this.
Should he file within 2 weeks? So we hear him at our next meeting, or the meeting after that, the one in
Well,
September?
Remember that the onsite that I had with him, he had no willingness at all to participate. You know, I mean, he was basically lawyered up
I know.
at the onsite,
Yeah.
so we, typically we would engage with people to try to see if they're, you know, wanna undo what they did and see what they'll, you know, if we can work with them kind of in a friendly manner. And so, right out of the gate, since we could see that wasn't happening, that's why we went with a, notice of violation and an enforcement order simultaneously,
Yeah.
you know, indicating just what we were looking for, which is a filing, and for him to restore the area. So the response was the letter, and, you know, the letter is, you know, I guess I was putting a positive spin on the fact that it does look like he wants to work with the town. I mean, he even indicated that he is intending on gifting the property to the town. I mean, you know what I mean? So it sounds, like, town council would probably have a good idea on, you know,
Okay.
what direction we should go. But if they, you know, finding right away, if we can do that, and that would, be a
Yeah.
good way to play it out, then we should do that.
I mean, I just see that someone has just gone ahead and dozed in a parking area in a marsh. And so I just. I don't
Right, and a
know.
lot of times when you put the onus on them, we'll be sitting here 3 months again, talking about the filing that's coming, and, you know.
Right, and-
So it's a good, I think it's a good idea to discuss a timeline.
And we have brought the TA into the loop on this, so, and she's indicated strong support on, you know, taking this matter very seriously. So, again, I think, you know, probably a letter from, town council will give it more direction
Mhm.
and maybe some more immediate attention. And I
Okay.
mean, I don't know if you go to court right away. I mean, I'm not exactly sure in the process. That's why I would seek advice from the professionals.
Okay. I just don't want to be waiting a month or 6 weeks or something for a letter. Okay. It's all right.
Okay, now we can do
Okay.
this.
We can go to
109.
A new, next subject.
Sharon. On August 16th, 2017, at 7:10 PM at the Town Hall, the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Tricia Sharon, to repair a septic system on property located at 109 Glades Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Okay, good evening, thank you. This is another septic repair on a small lot on Glades Road. This lot is a little bit larger than the last. It's 4,800 square feet. It's developed with a single-family home at the front of the property and a detached garage at the rear. It currently has a failed septic system, which we're looking to replace. The wetlands include a salt marsh, which is shown as the blue line on the plan. The 50-foot buffer is in red, and the 100-foot buffer is in green. The property is also within a FEMA Zone AE, and the entire area is mapped as a barrier beach. We did test pits on the property. We found groundwater to be about 5.5 feet down, and it's a 2-minute perk rate, so it's nice sand. And we were able to fit a conventional system in here. It's made up of a septic tank, a distribution box, and a leaching field. The area is generally void of vegetation. It's more sand and cobbles. And we do have a silt fence at the down gradient limit of work. And we are able to keep the system greater than 50 feet away from the salt marsh.
Penny?
No, I don't have any questions on it.
Richard?
Oh, good.
No
Well-
questions.
Nothing?
Nothing, no, this will be a good improvement.
Is there a note, I was just trying to look real quick, a note or anything to hold this tank down? A lot of times when those tanks are in an area like that, they have like a footing or something, but this is a poly
Yeah,
tank.
closer look. When we do a plastic tank, we usually do require ballast, and they usually strap concrete blocks to it or just pour concrete around it.
Yeah.
The note is not jumping out to me, but that is something we will require.
You will,
We will require it, yeah. Good point.
that's why we have you
A lot of times I put a big
Well,
nylon
The
strap
only reason
around
it
it.
really jumped out is because it was a poly tank, otherwise.
Yeah,
it probably
right,
wouldn't-
right, no.
Wasn't any great.
You don't want it floating down Glades Road.
Well, a poly tank and a concrete tank, they're all the same to me, they're a tank.
No.
Well, if they're empty,
no.
they both float, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we always do a concrete tank when we can, but we wouldn't be able to get it in here. The
Right.
plastic tank, you
No,
can
no, I
literally
understand.
drag in.
no. Yeah.
Poly sounds better than plastic.
Poly tank.
I know these are pretty rugged,
Oh, it
these aren't
sounds
just like
very
a.
sophisticated
Yeah, they are.
compared to plastic.
Yeah, I'd make sure that we'll make that a part of our conditions as well.
Okay, I'll
And
convey
you
that
think
to the
that
contractor.
You think that the silt fence is okay for that, or do we wanna have a silt sock or something at the back of that? This is showing a silt fence sort of coming off the shed and wrapping partway around the,
Yeah, I mean, a silt fence is probably adequate, or a straw wattle
okay.
job as well. They're pretty quick moving projects, so.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, are they gonna move on this before we get into storm season?
I'm not exactly sure when they're going to do it. Once they get to it, it'll go quick once they get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in the audience to speak to this? Okay,
Make a
take a motion.
motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks. How do I say this?
Schechter.
Is this your project?
Well, Christopher.
Schechter.
Christopher Lane?
Schechter.
Yeah, another one.
Check this,
CH
Roberts,
is a K.
34 Christopher Lane, septic repair.
Flips the friggin' page.
Flip it over, another one.
On
Yeah,
August
lots of
16th,
septic
Town Hall
stuff.
Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131,
Oh,
Section
that's-
40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Situate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Cindy Schlechter, POA, for Walter S. Roberts to repair a septic system on property located at 34 Christopher Lane, Situate. And Mr. Roberts was a customer of ours that we've done some work for in the past. It's been a little while since I did that, and I think I can do this.
I would think so. Not as controversial.
Okay, so the plan I just passed around is a revised plan. The only revisions we made were we had the wetlands delineated by a professional wetland scientist. They were done by South River Environmental, and we moved the tanks a little further away from the wetland. This property is 34 Christopher Lane. It's a much larger property than the others we looked at. It's 37,000 square feet in size. It has a BVW at the rear, and along the left side of the property is a drainage easement. There's a buried concrete pipe that directs the runoff from Christopher Lane to the back of this property. It has a septic system in the backyard, which is an area of lawn going up to a chain link fence, and then the wetlands just about right there at the fence. The leaching field intercepted groundwater, so therefore it failed a Title V inspection. And what we're proposing to do is to put a new septic tank and a pump chamber in the backyard, and then pump the sewage to the front yard at the furthest location away from the wetland. So we are within the 100-foot buffer with that leaching field, but we are just outside of the 50-foot buffer. This will be a big improvement because it is taking the leaching field that's right next to the wetland and in the groundwater table and moving it away and higher. It's also going in an area that's currently lawn. There's only one tree that has to be removed, and we are providing a siltation, an erosion control barrier. I believe a siltation fence.
You guys down there wanna look at it? It's pretty straightforward.
We have one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Benny?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I'm glad to see you could move it a little closer to the street
Yeah.
from the other plan.
I'm good.
Paul?
Looks good.
Lisa?
All set?
Amy?
It looks good, yeah, thanks for revising the plan and
Welcome.
getting those flags done and keeping it as far away as you can. It's pretty tight, but it'll definitely be an improvement, so.
And the only suggestion I have is maybe continue the erosion control just a little bit further south.
Probably up around the leaching field.
West to get, yeah, doesn't have to go all the way up, but it should, I think, extend a little bit further.
Okay.
I think there's a fence there, maybe that's why they stopped that as some landscape, but it should,
Yep.
should go a little bit further. Is there anybody in the audience? Christopher Lane? Okay.
Make a motion to close?
I make a motion to close.
No, you know, I just
You
did.
did, I'll second it.
Too slow.
I know, I'm daydreaming. I second.
All in favor?
Good man.
We're the Keystone Cops.
Go
here.
ahead.
Septic
All in
systems
favor?
get her mind
Aye.
going.
Aye.
Thank
It's August.
Thank you. Hey, we don't
the
take
middle of
ourselves too serious. I like it. I don't like it.
Johnston,
Something like-
112 Central Ave, raise, rebuild. On August 16th, 2017, at 7:30 PM, the Town Hall of Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing
Oh, you
under
know it.
Chapter
Okay.
131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Thomas and Christine Johnston to raise and rebuild a dwelling on property located at 112 Central Ave, Humrock, the butters of the Good evening.
Hey guys, my name is Paul Seberg from Grady Consulting.
Where's the ocean?
It's on the other side of the street. Oh, the ocean's behind them.
I did, yes. So the project is located at 112 Central Ave. It's a raise and rebuild project. The site currently consists of a single-family dwelling. It's an 8,600 square foot lot. There's a salt marsh associated with the Salt River located across Central Ave, highlighted in yellow there in the plan. There's also an existing coastal dune to the left of the property, also highlighted in yellow. The site is in a velocity.
I'm gonna ask your apology, or extend an apology. We're not supposed to start this till 7:30.
We got 7 minutes.
So that was your practice
All
run.
right.
I just, we do have, is Mr. Valdez here? So I'm awful sorry, but
No, it's okay.
we have a time set on this, so
Yep.
I think we need to
We
just
don't wanna
back
get in
up.
trouble.
Right,
Doesn't look like you drew a crowd, but.
yeah.
They might have run
Yeah.
It might be late,
upstairs.
yeah, you never know.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
We'll be back.
on August 16th of 2000, I guess, you Mr. Albert?
Yes, I am.
And do you have your green cards?
I do. In fact, I was looking for them while I was waiting in the gallery. I do have my birders list, and but I do have my certified mailers as well. This is just my birders list, but I do have and proof of mailer that I don't have it written in front of me, but I do have.
Technically, we're supposed to have proof that you notified your butters.
Understand.
The green
And you
card.
don't think you have anything from that, either your green cards or the
Yeah, it's the green white.
certificate? Yeah.
Yeah, they're the stops, the green white stops. They're certified mail. I have them all stapled together. It's either in my truck because I want to be here on time, or it's still at home, which is a good half hour away. But
Yeah, well, you know what, we need them, so if you wanna go check your truck, you can.
I can check.
But actually, the conversation that we had earlier today, we actually discussed withdrawing the notice of intent. So maybe that's the course that we should just go down.
Well, since I invested quite a bit of time, energy, and money into this process thus far, I would like to see if in fact that what I can get accomplished can be done without going through a secondary meeting, if you will. It will give me time to get you the information you require.
Okay, so then
but
why don't you go see if
yeah.
you can get those notices?
Right.
You know, we technically,
I understand.
in order to open the hearing, we
Yeah.
need to know that your neighbors
Have been notified.
have been notified.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, why don't you go take a quick look? We'll
Yeah.
kill 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Thank you. The order of conditions for the Scituate DPW? Do we have,
The denial.
Denial,
Denial.
yes.
No, uh-huh.
So you all saw that?
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
you did,
Okay,
in your letter,
good.
yes.
And so.
We just have to sign off on it, don't we?
Need to accept it.
Yeah. I make a motion that we accept, that we deny the project.
Accept the denial.
We accept the
We
denial.
accept the denial of the Town of Scituate DPW 430 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, the Reservoir Project.
Second.
as,
Paul seconds.
As what?
As written.
yeah,
As written.
We gotta
and you
vote.
think that basically works in compliance with what they wanted?
That's, yeah, that's what they want.
Okay.
I
And you have to
ran the
cover that.
draft by the consultants at Tetra Tech,
Yep.
and they were able to format and what it said, so I think we're good.
I think it made it pretty obvious that we were denying it, but we're good with it.
Yeah.
They
Did you
asked
have a
for a
chance to see
denial.
it?
Yeah.
And you're
It was
good?
Yeah, there was a lot of detail in there, but it was what they're looking for.
Okay. All right, so I have a
How
motion.
often we have them?
And seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. We also had,
Thanks for putting that together.
we also had a C of C on Central Ave that added.
Oh, yeah.
So we never got 216 Central.
Certificate of compliance for Farnelli, 216 Central Ave. What was that project?
The
That
old one?
was a septic system, back in 2000. And, actually, we had received request for CFC in 2001, but it wasn't acted on, so I'm gonna recommend that you issue the CFC.
2001, 16 years ago.
16 years, but it needs it because they can't do anything with the house without
Yeah,
it.
right, right.
Yeah, and the owner's selling,
Unfortunately.
and,
Finish up.
the owner's selling the house, and so this is one of the documents that came up. There's an as-built, so.
So if you're happy with it, we
Okay.
pretty old.
Because we don't usually vote to.
No, just,
Just,
You
you
just
make us
report
aware
to
of it.
us.
Right.
You're good
Oh,
with it?
okay, so you
No.
don't make a motion and
No.
vote to
No.
accept it, okay.
No, as long as you're happy, you went out and you feel as though it's all set.
It's all on you.
All in.
Okay.
That's good.
We had another, CFC request, 121 Blades,
Yeah.
and I was going to recommend that also be closed out. That was a septic repair back in 1996. So again, that one wasn't closed out, and I think that we're good to go on that one too.
Okay.
As long as there's no septic bubbling up, we're good.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
Thank you, Amy.
How'd you make out? No, lock-
Unfortunately, I don't have that with me, so if that's gonna preclude me from continuing,
Right.
We're not gonna,
Because we can't open it.
Well,
I mean,
sometimes, because we've advertised it, we have opened it, but we just continued it to give you an opportunity to get these, and then we take it up at the next meeting.
right.
so he doesn't have to advertise it.
And then that way you don't have to re-advertise, all of this.
That'd be great. The thing that I would like to share with everyone is that, and I had questions from the very beginning on whether or not it falls in a conservation point of view, although it's in a wetland, quote, zone, if you will. I unfortunately didn't have 10 copies for everybody, but I
So
like
can I
to-
just, let me just
Go ahead.
clarify this. So now what we're having is really an informal discussion.
Right.
Because any of this information, if it wasn't shared by your neighbors, let's say at the next meeting or whatever, people would have the opportunity to participate.
Correct.
If this, I know Amy had some thoughts or questions about how we'd proceed with this. Are we better off just continuing this to the next meeting? Is there an informal piece that you think we should?
I think that, it would be fine to discuss it informally, but to be fair to the people that are here for the public hearings, we should go back to the public hearings and take it up after.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Basically, and it'd be.
So that means just, we'll wrap up these guys and then you'll get a chance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, sure.
so are we gonna do a motion to continue it, open it? and
Yeah,
continue
actually, we
it?
should
Yeah.
finish
Okay.
that. So we've
Yeah.
already read, did I read his?
I don't think you did.
No, I asked for the green cards.
Yeah.
So we are gonna open and continue your actual hearing, then we're gonna do theirs, and then we'll have a informal discussion, Mr. Ellis, okay? On August 16th of 2017, at 6:40 PM, the Town Hall of Scituate. We have to open it.
For the meadow?
Yeah.
No, without the green card.
So what we've done before, when people failed to bring in their green cards, is we have opened the hearing.
No discussion.
I think we have, and then had no discussion.
Maybe once or twice, but.
Because otherwise you have to
It has to
re-advertise.
re-advertise.
Yeah, that could be the case here.
But if
There's
you,
a lot to talk about informally after we go to
But
the
if you
next public
opened-
hearing, so.
and you don't have any formal discussion, and next meeting he shows up with the green cards and you continued, everybody will have a chance to comment. If he doesn't have green cards, then he would have to re-advertise. But if we open and don't, and continue, right, nobody's missed out on anything.
Right,
If the green cards in fact went out, if,
right.
I'm thinking out
What about
loud.
the abutters, though? I mean, if we're having an informal discussion and the butters haven't been notified, how do we give them an opportunity to hear the informal?
Because
So
it's
if
gonna
he
be a
has his
hearing.
green cards next meeting, they were notified and we discussed it. If he has no green cards next meeting, then you're back at square one. He has to advertise and start all over.
I don't really care what we do.
If you open and continue, nobody's missed anything tonight. If they, in fact, there was advertisement.
That I
No
understand.
one's been deprived of
There was
any
an
rights.
advertisement in the paper that was posted.
Yes.
And my recollection is, the few times it's happened that people have forgotten to bring their cards, or didn't do them because they forgot, is that we did open the hearing, but continued it immediately without discussion. And then picked it up at the next meeting when we had proof that it was actually advertised. That's what we have done that in the past.
I wish I knew the answer to that too. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right, nobody could argue
Yeah,
that they've
I've done
been
it with you,
deprived of
Pat.
their rights if you did that, because,
Well, may I just make
Yeah, that's the
one
issue, I
point on that informal discussion? Informal discussions are posted, they are on the agenda. This is a fly, you know.
right, no, that, I agree, you're getting in a
So now I'm
slippery
wondering
slope. You
if-
go, we're
if
gonna
we should
continue.
even have an informal
then we're gonna
discussion,
talk
because
about
that
it.
has not even been posted. We had an agenda at the beginning, we put our add-ons on, and now we're gonna put
Well,
something.
but this project was on the agenda as a notice of
Wonder if the
intent.
green cards didn't apply. I don't know, I'm not trying to make it more difficult. It's just unfortunate they weren't here, so we couldn't just move.
I mean, if you look at it
So
as
we're
an
trying to
incomplete
accommodate something.
application, because the green cards aren't in, and you're giving the applicant another few weeks to make it complete. I don't know if you're opening and continuing, or you're just saying come back in a couple of weeks with the cards in place.
Right,
I think it's the latter.
all right. So then does it have to be re-advertised?
Legally, I'm not sure. I don't
Because if it was for tonight and you don't open and continue, now you're,
We can look into whether or not it
Right.
needs to
Well,
be re-advertised.
Right now, there's 3 people in this room, in addition to our committee. So, I think that it's pretty clear what we're doing. So, all right, so we won't even open. We'll just hold off and do this at the next one. But we can chat with Mr. Valdez after we finish up these hearings for a few minutes.
Right, because it's clear that you need some guidance,
Okay,
and we need some direction.
Everyone's
Okay.
fine, go ahead.
Okay, we're good.
all right. So, sorry, get back up. Yeah.
And you did open that.
And we did
Come
read that.
on, Dave.
So you all set?
Yep.
Good to go?
Sorry.
Yep. So, Paul Seabrook from Grady Consulting. We're working on a raise and rebuild at 112 Central Avenue. The site consists of a single-family dwelling. It's an 8,600 square foot lot. There's a salt marsh associated with the South River located across the street of Central Ave. There's also a coastal dune to the left of the property, highlighted in yellow. The site is also located in a velocity zone, elevation 15. The wetlands were delineated by South River Environmental. What the applicant wishes to do is raise the existing single-family dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling on a wooden pile foundation above the velocity elevation. They also wish to retain the existing septic system located behind the house. I know we're not showing any erosion control on the plan currently, but we will have a silt sock erosion control running along the left-hand property line and extending partially down Central Ave as well. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
What about erosion control along Craneswood on that corner? Because it does flood very quickly, even in heavy rainstorms.
We could extend it up that way as well.
On the side.
That's a very, I'm sure, I know
Yeah.
it's a very low lot.
I saw that as well. I saw
That's very
puddles right there when I was surveying.
I did not get out there today, so I really have no comments on it.
Otherwise,
I'm going
it's gonna
with
be a
you,
great
Richard.
improvement, honestly. It's gonna be a great
Okay.
improvement
Sounds good.
overall.
Okay.
I don't know if there, I think he's got all the restrictions on where it is, Barrier Beach and all, that.
Yeah, yeah, one thing, I'm not sure if you have yet or not, but you'll need a special permit for the zoning board. of
Right, the
appeals.
zoning board meetings, end of September.
Yep. And, I mean, it's pre-existing, non-conforming, they're taking down the house and they're putting up a house in a little bit different location, a little bigger, but apparently you can make, a non-conforming structure lot more non-conforming, and do that with a special permit. But I didn't really see anything, I think it's gonna be an improvement also.
It's definitely an improvement. That's a very low area.
Oh, yeah, it is a low area.
Oh, it's really low.
Oh, that'd be nice to look at. Thank
I
you.
had a stack of them, but that,
No,
Yes, you
that's
can-
okay, I'll
Shows it
pass it
all.
right there.
You can take a Zodiac down Central Ave sometime there.
You can.
Yeah.
That's one of the low points that's not involved in all the other stuff.
Is this right next to an easement to the, back
It's
up?
right in front of where we had that, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know the street.
yeah, Monticello.
Oh, Monticello.
It's right in front of that lady.
It's
that
two
did the
houses
fence.
back, yeah.
Ah, my girlfriend.
Yes, your girlfriend.
Paul's girlfriend.
Hey, 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 hey.
You start pointing fingers.
So if this is going so anybody else?
No, no questions.
If this is gonna still go before zoning, and there's a chance that something has to change on that,
Oh,
do you wanna just continue this to after your zoning?
We're right there. We're disappointed the zoning so far back, and they
Right.
want to get this underway.
Right.
I don't foresee any issues with the zoning, because we're making everything comply. There's no keep your fingers crossed kind of thing, it's pretty cut and dry as far as our
Would you
license.
go
So
to
they're good
zoning?
with this footprint, basically?
No, not until the end of September. So you
Yes,
couldn't
it's
start,
a
you couldn't start
period.
anyway,
Pardon?
so you couldn't start anyway.
No, there's an appeal period, so once we got the verbal approval of zoning, would we come back? Because there is that 20-day appeal period.
Right.
Right, but if you close this, and then there's something
I
about this
understand.
footprint they don't like, you're out of business here.
Sometimes we
The
can
point
amend
is-
it a little bit, but
If we continue it, you're still not gonna be delayed.
We're just gonna
Soon as that
continue
meeting
it
is
until
over.
you come back and go, either here's a little new information, or
When's your date
zoning
for
is good with
zoning?
this.
September 21st.
Yeah, 21st.
We meet the 25th.
We meet the 25th, so
Perfect.
you can come on in and
Perfect,
say,
you're a
I'm all
20-day
set to
appeal,
go.
you're a 10-day appeal, or so.
That's a better way to go, it's safer
Yeah.
for you.
And Carol's so fast at writing decisions. so.
Right, and if there's no changes, it's the same, you know,
Right.
Just approve it and mark.
honestly, don't even need the engineer. to
except for people that
say.
assume that she's just gonna write them real fast.
Well, you better be real nice.
I-
So do you want me to
Yeah, let's
continue
continue
this,
it.
Frank?
Yes, I think we should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience to speak to this?
I make a motion to continue. Johnston.
So, oh, go
So
ahead.
are there any questions that you have, that,
What's the foundation on this?
it's piles,
Piles.
river piles?
Okay.
Using, Rivermore.
Is this self-funding? Are they self-funding this? There's no grant on this.
No,
It
great,
can't be if
no,
you tear it
no.
down.
That's true, I'm sorry.
I guess I wanted to point out one thing, I'm Dick Rockwood, I've done the architectural work.
Yeah.
It's a VE 15, so the top of piles are at 17, plus 2 feet. I have a couple of these, this depicts what's
Probably
going
we
on.
wanna keep one of them in the record, Richard, if we
In the
got
file.
file. Can we
You
keep
get
one of
the
those in our
Carol.
file?
Oh, yes, so, but just so you clearly see this, so the house is, the top of the pile is plus the 2 feet, but we do have a deck in the riverside that's lower. I've done this on the ocean front.
Right.
As long as it's on its own separate piles and is
Not
not
attached,
attached to the
right.
house, that's the only thing that I just wanna make sure was still
What's there?
on board as far as.
And your roof is within the height guidelines of the town as well?
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
that that's
all
really
set
our
when I
concern,
go.
but-
Right. But that was the only thing I wanted to make sure that there was no, oh, we can't do that anymore, or something.
That's right.
Because I haven't sold that in Marshall yet.
I know that, but why is it required?
Well, there's
There's
just
probably a
it's a
butts up against it.
cross-section, so
Yeah.
there's one deck that's at that elevation, and then there's a lower deck, right?
Yeah, that's, this is the upper deck right here. There's a
Yep.
screen porch, there's the higher deck, and there's the lower deck
Yeah,
right there, and that depicts that lower deck.
so it gives people a chance to
They're
get half,
halfway to the ground.
yeah, they can catch their breath before they get to the,
Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
long
in
as-
case the water's not deep enough for the high deck.
Yeah, and that pile plan we'll have all stamped for the next meeting.
So, Frank, you keep your copy. You can have this one back. Frank will keep that for the file. Thank you.
See the plan, please? Thank you.
So you're gonna make a motion to
I
continue?
am, but I would like somebody to tell me, what time do we want to start hearings? This is a fresh page, so they're gonna be the
6:15.
first. Okay, I make a motion, we continue Johnson, 112 Central Ave to September 25th at 6:15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can move this to go.
So, Mr. Valdez, why don't we have a quick,
Yeah,
Informal.
okay. Very straightforward. Basically, the premise of my permit is to see if I could cut down the vegetation or the grass that's in a fenced yard of my property. This was a copy from the building department. I was instructed this morning that I have to have buffer zones marked out and risk areas drawn out and so forth. It's basically cutting the grass in a fenced yard. I have pictures of it. In fact, the property at this point is landscape-wise, is very dilapidated. I had retrieved tons of debris in this tall grass, which you'll see is pre-existing, but this has overgrown it. And I could send it to the board so they could get a closer look at it. My intent is to clean up the place, pure and simply.
so what your application, I think one of the concerns was that it was incomplete.
Yes.
So there's no construction or anything going on? It's basically getting rid of brush and
And debris,
growth.
exactly.
But do we have any idea where the resource areas are in this? I mean,
Well, I think that, based on site inspection that Pat and I did, this afternoon, I mean, it's pretty clear where there's an area that would be, the resource area, which is the Phragmites and, wetland vegetation. And right around the house, it's not really an established lawn, it's more like sand and gravel with weeds. So if you wanna clean those weeds up, I think within the perimeter of the fence, that we could do that without a notice of intent. And in that, with that said, you would probably just withdraw the notice, and we could give you permission to do that work. But if you wanted to do what you put in the description of the notice of intent, which is to regrade the site and to clear all the vegetation, then we're gonna need, for you to provide us with a plan that has
Sure.
the information we discussed on it, and, additional information.
No, absolutely, and I totally agree with you. It's just that, in hindsight, is that when I filled out the application, I wanted to make sure I just did everything at once. So when you cut down the grass, you don't know where you're at. You don't know if there's sloping, you don't know if there's a ditch, you don't know what. So I figured that if there was, I would fill in the areas. At this point, realistically, because like you said, I would need to have a much more detailed map, which is pretty much there right now. But what I would do is I'd have that in the next meeting if possible. But for the meantime, I have to know where I'm at, which means to clean up all the debris, weeds, trash. And along the other side of the house, as you walked around by the fence of the other neighbors that's facing Jericho, you'll see that the bushes are almost as tall as the meter of the, it's like 8 feet, because the meters, I believe, is 8 feet from the ground. So there's a lot of brush and bushes and who knows what else in that, and I would like to just bring it down to ground level. At least it looks more presentable.
What's the process that you'd use to get to that? Like
A combination of a weed whackers, lawnmower, just basic household type lawn equipment.
not backhoes?
No, no, not at all.
bobcats Or
No,
anything?
because at that point I would be getting permits for sure, and I would have to hire a company. But it would be just kind of like a DIY home improvement type thing I would do on a weekend or something like that. And dispose of all the brush that go green, of course,
Sure.
you know. But right now, it's just overgrown and just chaotic. It's just
I
crazy.
have to say, I haven't seen the site, so you have the benefit of.
I could give you, and you can confirm this with me, this is pictures as of about a week ago of what it looks like.
Yeah.
If I may?
We do have other things to do tonight, so.
No, of course, this one's just like 2 more minutes for your time.
I would just like to know exactly where the wetlands down there are, in what he's into. he might be right out of the wetlands, but he might be in the whole 50 foot. And he wants to clean, it says he wants to take trees, but I can't go into the notice of intent. But I'm nervous that there'll be more clearing than just the crabgrass or whatever coming up, or the beach grass, which he shouldn't take beach grass up. I'm concerned, because I have no idea from what he has filed so far.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want there to be any miscommunication about
Well, that's
what
what I'm
we're
afraid of.
agreeing to cut, you know, without a permit, for sure, you know?
Right.
As you'll see the pictures and also the,
Can I see that?
plan, yeah.
Perfect.
It shows the presentation of what I'm working with, and you'll see it's just along the fences here, just on the perimeter of the property. And there are designated stationary fences along the property line.
Can I see the picture?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry.
So I just basically am containing my work within the premises of the property, inside the walls of the property.
Problem is, as Penny says, or the issue is, within the walls of your property, but we don't know for sure whether that's, or where the wetland line
You
is,
should be doing it.
you know, and that becomes an issue for us.
Well, I'm all in favor of him getting the trash and stuff cleaned out of there. And, is there some way that we can define where he can get rid of weeds and stuff? Is that something that's simple enough to show him on this plan? And say, don't go any further than that for right now?
Yeah, in the immediate perimeter of the house,
Okay.
you know, but anything to the,
Yeah, we had been out there before on this, and there's an area of Phragmites, and you don't know what part of the Phragmites is upland and what part is actually in the wetland. I would say if you wanted to come to the edge of the Phragmites without cutting any of the
Don't go
ties,
into the
Right.
phragmites.
without a wetland person reviewing it or getting a permit, I'd say the rest of it, you have a fence out back, you have a yard in the front with weeds, and it didn't seem like there'd be a problem with that.
right.
It's not coming to the left.
The dump bed.
Right, right.
Yeah, I would say if you are comfortable delineating an area you feel good about, I think that would probably be good. If he wants to go greater than that, then we get into getting a delineation. What do you think of that?
You know, we talked about the grading, and the issue there is it's all in a flood zone. So once you start grading in a flood zone, you could impact a neighbor. So
Right.
that's why we want an engineer to
Right.
look at the amount of fill, the amount of removal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's just that any engineer won't even know where to even start without knowing what's on the ground.
That's right.
Because it's all densely vegetated, so it's hard to really tell where you start, what you can do, really. So that's why I kind of like in a cross between getting rid of it all and then know where I'm at, and then definitely having a filing permit to grade it, do the delineation of the lines and all that stuff. But right now, I had brought an engineer twice over, and they said, let me know when it's cleared so I could tell you what I can do, kind of a thing, because it's just so densely vegetated.
Well, then the next step would be a wetland person to
Yeah.
find out where the wetland line is and where the
Exactly.
50-foot is.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to start with.
Yeah, we don't,
wetland.
and that makes it difficult for a wetlands person. If you ever altered the site some,
Yeah.
you know, by cutting or whatever, it gets harder to figure out just where the wetlands are.
So,
Do you think from this picture, can you just make a couple of lines, or just show Mr. Valdez where you think he should cut?
Yeah, no, on the, there's a side that faces a chain link fence, and there's a lot of bushes, like rose bushes or whatever, but they're just overgrown and overpopulated. I assume that should be fair
do you
to,
want a marker, Amy? I
yeah.
have markers there.
I mean, I would love to meet at the property again, and they could just tape it off. If it came down or stake it off, I'd be happy to do that.
I think if they can, I mean, it's pretty clear what's there. If they've been out there, let's see what, it's up to the agents.
Yeah. Now, would that also include, there's a couple trees that are just kind of
No.
half dead?
Uh-uh.
No meaning don't touch, or no meaning,
Don't touch.
okay,
Right, so something like,
Okay.
here's meadow,
right,
okay, so nothing on this side
okay,
or on this side, but like
Yeah.
right around,
oh, yeah.
just here.
And I have plenty of work to do here, and especially here.
Yeah.
Around here a little, but like you said, this is where all the,
Yeah, so
questionable things are.
nothing over here
okay, until we,
or in here. Yeah.
Mark it, Amy.
Yeah, okay.
I get that. This is where the shed is, by the way.
Yeah. Cause it's wet over here, all over here.
Yeah, now there's
And
a
this
50-foot
is all
road
wet
here.
too.
Just so you know, there's a 50-foot road here, and then there's this private passageway, which kind of feeds this property, technically this property.
So you're saying it's okay for him to,
Just right in, there's a chain link fence.
Yeah,
that
there's a
runs up
fence.
here,
And then there's a plastic
here.
fence here,
yeah.
and plastic
So,
fence here.
you know, get a weed whacker and cut down
Yeah,
the weeds along there, and then this is all kind of weedy,
yep,
yes,
not lawn, it's
okay.
just like
But all the areas that
sand.
are Xed out, you're not gonna get into until you
correct.
get more information.
Exactly, and then what I could do, by the next meeting, I'll have all the information, because I'll have, I'm just using like shovel, rake, weed whacker,
Yeah.
lawnmower, basic
Okay.
stuff, you know?
So we could, if you wanted to do that and withdraw the notice of intent,
Okay,
we could put that on a shelf and do a minor activities permit, which
Right.
is $35 in the town of Scituate.
Right.
We could put that together and give you permission.
Appreciate that.
Say we do just that limited,
Exactly, I appreciate that, and
Weed whacking.
what I was gonna ask you is that, when that's all done, would I be able to go 2 weeks from now, or a month from now? I mean, I'll have my tickets definitely by
So
tomorrow.
you've done your tickets, right? My
Yeah.
suggestion would be that you, I guess Carol's gonna have to re-advertise, but you've done your mailing.
Right,
Let the people, let the public hearing open. If he doesn't have all the information,
you'll have to do it anyways, all
we'll
over,
just continue it till you'll have it.
right,
right, but even, so say we make it to that point.
Yep.
That's where we have quite a bit of work to do before we can open the public hearing, because the plan was quite deficient.
Okay.
So
We were
it
noticed,
didn't
yeah.
identify any of the resource areas. We talked about this
Right,
on the
right,
phone
right.
this morning.
Sure.
So you need to get a wetland scientist and
Right.
an engineer, because we need a
Right.
stamped plan
right.
that's to
Okay.
scale.
So
Okay.
it would
Yeah, I have
seem-
an engineer on board to do all that. I spoke to him. Unfortunately, I got the notice of our conversation just within 24 hours, so it was hard for me to react that quickly for today's meeting. But he's already on board, and he's gotten some of his information, and he's already on work on it. So I think within a couple of weeks, I'd have everything you would want.
Okay.
Anyways,
So we would need the new information in at least a week before the next hearing date, which is September 6th.
Right.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. All right,
So we didn't open. so
all
we
right.
don't
In the
have to continue.
meantime, you know what your limitations are, and you're gonna
Right.
get a minor activities permit for that.
Okay, when will I be able to pick that up, or have,
Minor activities permit,
yes,
I can email it to you.
that'd be fine.
okay?
Okay,
You just, how much is it, 35?
35?
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Okay, and I could, if you don't mind if I could bring the check in tomorrow morning, because I don't want to take up much
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
the
yeah.
time, because I have to,
Yeah.
okay.
Good.
Thank you so much for all your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. What else do we have?
So, does this mean you're opening it, or what?
We didn't open it.
He doesn't have the kind.
I'm not gonna go against you guys. Watch.
If he brings in new information next week, what good is that?
Right, well, if he brings in the information to complete his NOI submittal, then it needs to be re-advertised,
Right.
and it can go on the 6th, but actually, you're right, we need that 2 weeks before.
Right.
So we'll need to tell him that tomorrow. That was my mistake. Because I was thinking if we had opened and it would have just continued, we give new information a week, but since we're
Re-advertising, you need 2
re-advertising
weeks.
it, it's really 2 weeks, yeah.
I was gonna start to say, until he said, oh, I can be ready, I was gonna start to say, are you sure you can be ready, but No.
Yeah, LeRoy.
Oh, after they turn the mic off.
Okay.
So we got
Anything
anything
else?
else?
Thank
Had
you.
pretty
I
good progress this
think-
meeting.
We,
Yes.
we've done everything.
Anything, no? So I really wanna know, what's Pat doing with his spare time?
Motion to close?
Second?
To adjourn.
To adjourn.
You always
To adjourn, to adjourn.
Hey, Amy, did you have something else first?
I was gonna do a quick Gilson culvert project
Sure.
I'm
status.
sorry.
Yes.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Okay, quick.
I'm gonna go with Pat.
We've had requests for an update from all the abutters in this project, so.
Yeah.
It's gone to engineering and they've sent some plans back to DPW and they're sizing the culvert and, you know, the big question is when the money would come through. We don't know when the money would come through. And we also contacted, Plymouth County Mosquito Control to see if they could start doing some ditching on the inland side of Gilson. This is the priority project, but it's taken a long time, just,
Right.
and the marsh is really choked up.
That thing's been bad since '78.
Oh,
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, that
has.
flooded in, and then it couldn't drain out, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
flooded more. We rescued a horse out of a barn on, the Kent Street, like almost to, Old Driftway in the blizzard of '78. I mean, that,
you were involved in that?
but it doesn't, yeah,
Seventy-eight was, that was
Yeah.
fun.
That was
You
bad.
must have been a little boy.
thanks, Pat.
He was
But
a
it-
teenager.
But it doesn't drain well at all,
Yeah.
so any improvement there would,
Outlet would be perfect there. No,
Yeah.
the pipe's not doing it.
yep. Okay, well, I appreciate, seems like we're kind of moving along a DPW project a little bit, but that's a good thing,
Yeah.
so, appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn?
Anything
Second.
else, Amy?
Second.
Amy? All right. All in favor?
Aye.